Boost up the mobility makes it see the stream. Tiny bit. Okay, everything's well lit. Character is in position. Calibrate a few things. Calibrating that. Setting up straighter. Calibrated. Calibrated. Everything is calibrated. Everything is working fine and dandy. I open my trumpet. Bing, bada, boom, bada, bang, and let's go. Ananas, scavengers, pineapple here. Hopefully. You can see me. Okay, this should. Ha 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 ha! Everything is working. As far as I can tell. Hola! Ananas, scavengers. Everything should be fine and dandy for right now. Why is everything bugging out? Does not matter. Everything works beautifully. For the most part. I'm still not sure what's going on. Still not sure what's going on with the hand tracking. It's making me think my face is a hand. But yes, everything is working. This is mostly just a further test of tracking. And I have a checker this time. Yeah. Okay. Trumpet is there, but I was not holding it. I should actually get that out. It's very... Alright, let's grab this. mic issues. I can fix those. Ah, thank goodness for chatters. Okay. Okay, yeah, actually, my mic being very quiet. I'm gonna check what mic is this thing using. Oh. Whoops. Was not actually hooked up to my computer mic for some silly reason. It was somehow hooked up to a headset mic that isn't even... That headset's off. I don't know how... I don't know why OBS decided to... Yeah, but it was... The headset is off in another room in a drawer, and I think it's dead. It's not even there. Like, I don't know how OBS or my computer connected to it. It's a... Why did it decide to connect to my VR headset? I haven't used that in months. Wow, my mouth was glitchy. Yeah. It's amazing I was even heard, honestly. But yes, the stream works. Mostly. There are still bugs with the hand tracking because my hands are firmly by my sides. IRL, I am holding my chair. But, as you probably just saw, I don't know how far behind my delay thing is. Okay, yeah, not that far behind. I am gently grasping my own chair right now, and, hand tracking appears to be working at the moment. But yeah, as you can probably see, occasionally it just thinks my hair is a hand. Could probably fix that somehow. Either by wearing a hat, which would probably not actually fix anything, or I'm not sure. This is why I have my camera enabled. Enabled in the program, because it's probably either my hair or my glasses. And the hair is fixable. The glasses are not. I need those. And... Did my computer just freeze? Oh, good. Stream did not crash. Stream very nearly crashed there. My computer very nearly crashed there. It's... Okay. I have the camera for my tracking software pulled up. It does not see a hand anywhere on the screen right now. Alright. And stream is... Wow, OBS is not having it fun. Something crashed. No, if it's anyone's internet, it's mine. But yes, something crashed. I need to figure out what. Just try calibrating this. It was. Of course, it was Roto. What else would it be? Of course, it's the new program. Okay. Yeah. Alright. I might have to shut the stream down. Give me a minute. Don't have a technical... Alright. Oh, it's not just Roto. Let me try something. Yep, BC-Face is experiencing errors. Probably because Roto is also experiencing errors. Fun. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to close out both of those. And reopen them. So, I'm gonna just... switch over to a different screen while I... Okay, BC-Face is not working. Oh no. What the heck is going on? Come on, Roto. Work with me here. Oh, good. Maybe mute everything. But at least the stream is working. Okay. Avatar's still partially frozen. But that should fix itself in a moment. Ah, yeah. Auto should finish loading up in a moment or two. I'm going to just... Oh, yeah. It's loaded by now. Really, partially. Just have to turn this on. Okay, that's better. Okay. Everything should be back to normal. Everything's back to normal, right? What the heck? Alright, standing up, sitting up straight. What is going on? What does the camera see? This was all working fine just an hour ago. What the... Ah! Wow, that's bright. It is not helping. Alright. Is the mirror throwing things off again? Because I don't have the thing that I used last night. Right, and I'm not strong enough to move that mirror. Alright. Just gonna do the old trickery. We're just gonna recalibrate everything. Okay, that should fix some of this stuff. Yep. Everything looks normal. Okay, yep, now it's only glitching out the normal amount. Yay! Okay, yeah, it's probably throwing everything off. Either that or my lighting. Lighting, but look. One of those is a bit easier to fix than the other, I think. Yeah, that pencil drawing in the library used to just be my default background that I use for everything. Just because I had it and it was available to me. I'm gonna put that back on for just a second and try this. This is gonna give me such a headache, but it'll be worth it. Alright. Yeah, that is... Wow, the tracking is way better now. I'm mad. What do you mean that worked? God. If... I had to turn off the lights in my room and just use a lamp. But that's fixing everything, apparently. Problem is that that's gonna give me a headache. But it works. The camera can see just fine. I can see just fine, mostly. Actually, if I open my windows, that'll probably fix things. And OBS is bugging out as per usual. I could maybe lower the latency a bit. Or something. I don't know what I'm supposed to do to deal with the fact that... Yeah. Give me 2 seconds. Seconds, because I cannot survive in this little light. But my room is right by a big window that should give just enough light for me to not... Oh yeah, that's way better. Alright. Ceiling light, too bright. Lamp, too close to my face. Window plus lamp. Works best for tracking and for avoiding headaches. And just move the lamp away from my face a bit. Now it's not shining in my face. Ooh. What the... Alright, I have no idea what's going on right now. But yay. Alright, can I, Oh, good, I can pull up YouTube chat. Actually, I seem to open up YouTube, that'd be useful. Is it actually working? I can't tell. Ah. Yeah, YouTube. Huh. They do kind of look like a beanbag. That was not intentional, and what the... Okay. Okay, should be able to see chat from OBS now. Ta-da! I don't know why my avatar is glitching back and forth so much. I'm not even moving. I am standing perfectly still. Sit up a bit straighter. Alright. Apparently Google thinks, that Latin is a separate language from English. I believe that is partially correct. She's still using the English words, English onomatopoeia, or you would associate with laughing. Believe it or not, the posture thing does not make as big a difference as you would think. The biggest thing that helps with posture is, of course, this thing. Because if your posture is not straight, this thing can, in fact, be really hard to play. Yeah, probably. Alright, let's see. How do I shout? Now you see why I didn't notice the mic issue before. Yeah, I primarily test my mic with my trumpet. Also, the trumpet. This is the problem for two reasons. One, trumpets are designed to be ridiculously loud. These things evolved from bugles, which were used in naval warfare and other parts of war as a way of communicating orders across the battlefield. So obviously you had to be able to hear them over everything else going on. There's probably a better phrase from that, but yeah, predecessor to a trumpet was the bugle. War bugles. They were used to, send orders all over the battlefield, like attack, retreat. Yes, like cracks. Evolution applies to more than just nature, it seems. And the other reason why the trumpet is so much louder than my voice is because it's closer to the mic. It is the bell of the trumpet. It is coincidentally positioned almost right next to my mic. Built in my computer, obviously. Which, yeah, it gets loud. I could probably solve this by connecting a different mic, but I don't know how to do that. But I also don't have a different mic to use. I suppose I could maybe use my headset. I have a headset I could use. But Bluetooth is stupid. Stupid, and the wired headset causes tracking issues for no reason. That's... Alright, I'm gonna try hooking up my headset. Oh yeah, this one has battery issues. But if I... Alright. Yeah, batteries. And connection issues, of course. Well, there's one thing that a tracking issue is good at. It's very good at picking up on the fact that I roll my eyes very consistently. Come on, old thing. Come on, you old... Come on. Come on, oldie. Yeah, I might need to get a new headset soon. This one's just old. Come on. Alright, are you connected? No, you are not connected. Yep, you see why. Alright, yeah, you see why I don't use that headset it anymore. I can never get it to connect properly. Please. Yeah. It's an Ukta. One other headset I could try, but if I play my trumpet waltz on it, it feels really weird. Also, there's like a 90% chance it'll just connect to my phone instead of the computer. Yeah, I just turned that off. That's the reminder. I forget that that's on. But yeah, trumpet's put away now. Alright, let's grab these. Let's try these. These are slightly fancier than the other ones I have. And they actually have battery. And the issue is that they're currently paired to my phone, and my computer does not like that. Yeah. I think my computer's Bluetooth is just broken. Alright, I'm gonna have to... Give me just a sec. Pause this. Alright. Sound menu. Alright. Everything's connected. Back to here. Okay, should be using my headset mic now. Haha. Managed to get that to work. What the... Alright, if I straighten my back up a bit, it should. I should, but I stream like once a year pretty much. This is... Not once a year. I don't stream often. And why does my avatar keep sliding to the left? We're gonna just click. Okay. Yay! Normal volumes. Yeah. Now, a fun thing about my recording setup is that I only recently was able to get any degree of, like, soundproofing setup, so my mic used to be even quieter than this. And was... you could barely even hear it, honestly, before. But then I got a room that I could move my computer and my recording stuff into, so now I can close the door, and I have walls in between me and the other people, and sources of noise. Yeah. Way harder than it seems. But also way easier than it seems. Like, the number one thing I did to soundproof was I hung up paintings. That's pretty much it for soundproofing. This room is a painting or two that I hung up. And it works pretty darn well. Exactly as well as I need it to, at least. I need to set up straighter so that the thing has to. Okay. Now, that's all figured out. Let's get out the fun thing again. Jump back. Yeah. I just did that. That was purely improvised. No sheet music was ever seen. Ah. That was not even a hard song. Alright. I'm gonna try the Pink Panther song again. Ba-da, ba-da, Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Now that one does actually have sheet music, but I beg you please not to look it up because I don't think I played a single note right. Yeah, this might not surprise you much, but I am a big fan of the Pink Panther. Especially the older cartoons. Masterful storytelling there. Absolutely silent storytelling with nothing but just that really catchy jazz theme in the background. Oh, that's a good song. Yeah. However, I did recently discover, or looking for the show on the TV, because I have a fancy search function that lets me find shows across multiple different streaming sites. It's very nice. That there's apparently a version of the cartoon no. Back to what I was saying. There's apparently a version of the Pink Panther cartoons where the Pink Panther talks. And it's not even like the actual Pink Panther voice that they use like 2 or 3 times in the original cartoons. It's a Bugs Bunny style voice. He sounds like a cartoon character. Character instead of the distinguished gentleman. Yeah, he's supposed to sound like a very distinguished gentleman. Because he is a very distinguished gentleman. But this show had him with a bit of a cartoony voice. Yeah, I don't like that show. Yes, yes he is. This has been a consistent thing throughout pretty much every good portrayal of the Pink Panther. Is that he is a good, distinguished gentleman. He is also a cartoon, but I mean, all the cartoon characters, the Pink Panther has the best manners. Yes, he is a cartoon gentle panther. Like, dude has like actual, for real manners. Like, you would not see Bugs Bunny. Nee, nee, doing the sort of stuff that the Pink Panther does, ever. Where, like, asking, you not see Bugs Bunny, like, asking politely for a hot dog. And then just paying for the hot dog and leaving. No, no, it will be some, no, he would just walk up and be handed a hot dog. Dog, like, there would he would not pay for the hot dog. Yeah. Like, there's also like a pretty funny like gag bit they sometimes do in between the clips in the cartoon. Where just the Pink Panther is getting ready to attend some sort of formal event, and so he's wearing a ball gown, or he's wearing a top hat and a bow tie, and he's looking very distinguished, very kind like nice formal attire. And then he has a mishap with his fur, and ends up having to wear a fur sweater to the event that he makes himself using his fur because he accidentally shed too much. It's very funny. I'm doing a bad job of describing it, but it's funny. Yeah. Don't know what's going on with the hand tracking. Yeah, but the best thing about the Pink Panther has just been, yeah, he is a cartoon character, but he's never acted like he's in a cartoon beyond the occasional breaking of the fourth wall. Oh, but actually, he doesn't even break the fourth wall. He just folds it. This is in fact a very specific reference to one of the funniest sight gags in all of the Pink Panther. And I will not spoil, I will just... He literally folds the fourth wall in half. Multiple times. And it's hilarious. Yeah, he's very polite. He's a polite guy. Far more polite than like every other cartoon character I've ever seen any media. Like, the only other cartoon character that really comes close to being as polite as the Pink Panther, I feel like it's probably the Roadrunner. But even then, he's the... one of my favorite episodes, which is also one of the rare ones where he actually talks. He delivers one line in the entire episode, and just he has that's his voice. And it's a guy is a hunter. Is trying to hunt down all the animals, so he recreates Noah's Ark and manages to trick most of the animals onto the Ark. And then at the episode, he falls for his own trick when the rain starts falling down that, would, according to this guy's story and, the Noah the Ark story, flood. It happens. Everything dies. Yeah. Not fun. Yeah. So he bargains with them for access to the boat because the Pink Panther has consistently managed to basically just take control of the boat while this guy was out trying to catch him. And then he gets onto the boat, all the animals leave, and then Pink Panther walks up to this elephant that was creating the fake rain and just pats them on the back to get them to stop, and then turns and looks directly at the camera and just says, the most polite and distinguished voice I've ever heard, "Why can't men be more like animals?" And just, yeah, iconic line. Another few of his more iconic lines are, Gophers, and they say a rolling stone gathers no moss. We wouldn't want a beautiful stone like this to gather any moss, now would we? Like, but they're all delivered in a very polite and distinguished, gentlemanly voice, which I just love. And OBS is recording. Why is it doing that? Yeah. So, yeah, it's just built up this image of him being polite and a kind, you know, panther. I should also mention that uh, it's a very good show, not just in general, but during some of the earlier episodes, there's this consistent thing of the inspector, police guy, who's from France, who comes from the actual Pink Panther movies, which do not have the actual Pink Panther. It's more about a diamond. Trying to catch the Pink Panther, who's, you know, a Pink Panther. So you'd think he'd be easy to catch, but no, he's not. Because, one, I don't think he's ever broken the law. And two, he's still a cartoon. So his actions follow, cartoon logic. There's one bit where whenever the Pink Panther opens the door, it crushes the inspector. I've reused that a few times with Tunnel. There's another one where... Oh yeah, no, that's what he's trying to catch the Pink Panther for, defacing public property. The Pink Panther would draw mustaches on the signs. Lines, so... Yeah. Then when he actually manages to catch the Pink Panther, he puts, obviously, a handcuff on the Pink Panther. And on his hand as well, because, that'll keep the Pink Panther from running away. Pink Panther takes his other hand, the one without a handcuff, blows onto his finger, and it inflates the arm that's handcuffed, stretching the solid metal handcuff out until he's able to just deflate his arm and slip out of the handcuffs, no problem. Yeah, but yeah, the Pink Panther, out of all the cartoons I've seen, he's most, cartoony, but also the most grounded, I guess. Realistic? I don't know the word. Gives us a very specific vibe that I very much like because they don't rely on cartoon logic so much that, it feels absurd and silly, but they utilize it just often enough that it still feels like an actual cartoon. And the logic is consistent too. Like, perhaps not between, like, you know, different episodes, but within the episode, the logic, if something works a certain way once within, a Pink Panther episode, it'll keep working that exact same way every time that comes up in the episode. It's not gonna just change based on what's funniest. Like with Bugs Bunny, one of the Bugs Bunny episodes, he's like running from a lion. The lion is, stuck in a cage, so Bugs Bunny slips out of the cage, and the lion can't bend the steel bars to get out of the cage. So instead, the lion has to open the door. But just a little bit down the line, after the lion nearly gets into the cage using an elephant, because Bugs Bunny has locked the door, or to keep, the iron bars between him and the lion, and the elephant plan goes awry, the lion just bends the steel bars, even though it was previously shown that he couldn't. Which, yeah, that's what's best for the story at that point, but why couldn't he have done that earlier? Why did he even have to get the elephant? Yeah, but with the Pink Panther, if the Pink Panther can't bend the steel bars the first time, he's not going to be able to bend them the second time. He's going to have to use something else. There was no time for him to eat spinach. The elephant used the lion to whack a wind-up mouse. The lion got mad and bent the steel bars, even though previously Bugs Bunny slipped through the iron bars to escape the lion. The lion got mad and couldn't bend the steel bars. But if the Pink Panther, had to bend the steel bars but couldn't do it with his strength, he would, have to get out a car jack or something. And it would work. I mean, of course it would. It's for the sake of the story, but he would have to use his brain and think of a solution. And instead of just yes, but it doesn't really work out that way. Like, the Pink Panther's cartoon logic has a level of consistency, I see to it, that just makes the cartoon come off as a lot more charming. Also, on a bit of an unrelated thing, I spent so long thinking about dragons and stuff that I actually figured out the solution to dragons fireproofing, as well as fire breathing. And the thing is, I think that if dragons were to have evolved in this world, fire breathing would evolve first. Like, it would evolve before the fireproofing. Fireproofing would probably evolve from like a chemical spray that the dragon, uses. And then it would maybe later evolve, like, then maybe an unrelated, like, lightning or some other thing would come into play. It, spark the chemicals and make fire. And then after that, any of the ones that aren't able to handle the fire burn up and die. So you're left with ones that can better handle the flames. And then from there, you would, the ones that are least able to handle the fire would die, leaving you with ones that are even better able to handle the flames. So eventually you just get, this species that can, use fire, but is not as easily hurt by fire. Basically, fire breathing creates the need for fireproofing. It's not that hard to wrap your head around. However, the true solution to fireproof scales comes in two parts. First, dragons have double layered scales. They have the first layer is just a thick, scaly hide like you see with all reptiles. Reptiles like lizards, and snakes, and alligators, and such. Well, I guess birds are technically reptiles because they share the same, or some of the same ancestry, but you get what I'm saying. And yeah, thick, scaly hide, super tough, super heat resistant and stuff, like so that the dragon can handle its fire and all that. But then it also has a second layer of like scales or feathers that are similar to like pangolin or fish scales, where they're tough, where they provide, an additional set of armor that's shed a bit more frequently and is like interlocked and interwoven to allow maximum mobility and protection. And then in between these two layers of scales is special glands that produce, a fireproof gel. Gel that, it extinguishes flames. Flames and evaporates and stuff to protect from burns. It's like aloe. Aloe, well, like, aloe. Yeah, it's like a lotion or an aloe. Like it's very good at, helping the dragon heal from and prevent burns. It's like natural sunscreen almost. Except does it just protect from sunburns, it protects from all burns. It would probably also be waterproof because, well, lots of dragons are noted to be good swimmers, so why wouldn't it be? And this stuff is just, the dragon just makes it. And when it like grooms itself, get rid of loose scales and stuff, it, spreads this natural gel all over its scales, which, due to their double layered design, keeps it. We're going to move past that, which, due to the design of the scale, the double layering of scales, like, keeps it trapped onto the dragon's skin. And fireproofs it. So that when the dragon, gets hit by fire, the fire, hits the dragon. Dragon's scales, which are, flame and heat resistant, but not really fireproof on their own. And since the aloe is there, the aloe is cool stuff, and so it, the aloe just evaporates. It's and stuff which prevents the burn from, sticking. And because the skin cools faster, it cools the skin, heals whatever tiny burn the dragon might get pretty quickly. And so the dragon appears to be fireproof because it has heat and flame resistant scales that don't burn easily. And on top of that, it has this natural sunscreen almost that, you know, cools the skin, and where the flames touch it, and keeps the dragon from getting, and keeps the skin from burning. Burning and heals burns. Which is why if a dragon, has to go through a lot of fire, such as flying through its own fire blast, like we see in How to Train Your Dragon, and two, or Toothless, dives through the fire blast that he shoots out to protect Hiccup, they might have to spend a few minutes to reapply this gel, which explains why Toothless is, scratching himself afterwards. He's reapplying his fireproof gel. And then he does this to Hiccup by wrestling with him and licking him, because their saliva also has this gel in it, and so he's just trying to protect his friend. And yeah, and the details of the scene show us that this is not an uncommon occurrence. But since Hiccup's not a dragon, it doesn't stick to him as well. Oh, parents are home. Anyways, yeah. And this also explains how monstrous nightmares work. They just do the same thing, but a bit in reverse. And the movies and shows support this by having a substance called monstrous nightmare gel, which monstrous nightmares produce, and it's this highly flammable gunpowder-like substance that's partially liquid, and so you can just spread it on stuff, and then you set fire to it, and it explodes. That gunpowder it produces, fire stuff. So the monstrous nightmare produces this gel, and sets itself on fire, and then its natural aloes and stuff protect it from getting burned. Because, as you'll see, monstrous nightmares have burn marks on them from where, they set themselves on fire. So clearly dragons aren't entirely fireproof, but it does take a lot to actually get a burn to set in and stay there. And it's very likely that the monstrous nightmare's gel is also the same stuff that it uses to breathe fire. Because when we see monstrous nightmare that's out of flame, it spits out this icky goop. Goop that's hot, but it's not, on fire. So, yeah. Which creates the idea that the monstrous nightmare has a liquid-based fire-breathing system. Unlike the hideous Zippleback, which has a gas-based fire system. With one head breathing out the flammable gas, and the other head, igniting it. Which serves very nicely for the whole series. That How to Train Your Dragon is a good series because they, for the most part, do a good job of striking a balance between actually looking into the science and like biology of the dragons without putting so much information in there that like they lose sight of the plot and just the fact that this is a dragon. We don't need to explain everything about it. It's a fictional creature. But we do need to give it traits that make sense for it to have. We don't just give it like a bajillion different evolutionary traits, half of which don't even serve a purpose. No, we give it some interesting evolutionary traits, and we make sure that they make sense for the dragon to have evolved over time. Like Night Furies, we see Light Furies in the third movie, which are very similar to Night Furies, so likely, same species or like a different breed. And the Light Fury has shown to have evolved just straight up invisibility. Which is a very, very useful trait. A trait that we're later shown that Night Furies also have, but it works a bit differently, and it's more exhausting for them to use. And so the Light Fury is probably slightly more evolved than the Night Fury in some degrees, but then we see the Nightlights, which stick around for quite a while because they have the best traits from both breeds. It's the incredible speed and precision of a Night Fury, and the invisibility of the Light Fury. I should probably wrap up this stream soon. I have no idea. Also, fighting is gonna give me a headache. Yeah. See you next time, scavengers.